Hello, so here we are in the training room of the Ingenious Air company. Now you're looking at this particular video because you've got a worry or an inquiry about your indoor air quality. We're going to be talking today about a 3-in-1 air purification module. Here's the one we actually use in our own training room and office. It's open so we can get to it and we can show people how it works, but normally it would have some duct connected to it, and somewhere in that duct it would probably have a pre-filter, something like this, which is just going to stop the larger particulates, and then just use this system for the really good stuff. Okay, so we refer to this as HEPS, H-E-P-S, that stands for High Efficiency Purification System. Now this is a module that goes on the back of our high velocity unit. We're going to talk about exactly how it works, bearing in mind that this is used by NASA on their space station, so it's that level of indoor air quality that we're looking to provide to your home, or your office, or your laboratory, and so on. Okay, so let's talk about the unit itself. I'm going to take the side panel off so we can see. Now, the first component is the air filter. This is made under license from 3M. It's a specially patented filter, and it will stop particulates down to 0.3 micron. Now, to put that in everyday terms, a bacterium would be 1 micron. So this will go down as far as 0.3, and at 0.3 it's about 24% efficient. In other words, when you've moved the air from the home or the office, laboratory, whatever, through 4, 5, 6 times, you're down to quite negligible levels of 0.3 micron. Everything above that we're catching at a much greater rate. Okay, so that's the special filter. The second and third components are in the same module here. Now the interesting thing is we have 2 ultraviolet lamps. Now the ultraviolet lamps serve 2 purposes. First of all, they're killing anything that's biological, any viruses or bacteria. So we'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. So they're cleaning the air as the air passes over. Also what they're doing is they're shining on the titanium oxide coated mesh. So there's about 70 square feet of titanium oxide mesh. When the light shines upon it, it alters it slightly. It changes the orbit of one of the electrons, and this makes it what we call a supercatalyst. Now that's important for why? Well, if you've got something like carbon monoxide passing over it, carbon monoxide will react with the titanium oxide when it's in this particular state, and the carbon monoxide gets changed into carbon dioxide and water, and is effectively then completely harmless. So we're taking things like carbon monoxide, benzenes, those kind of nasty chemicals out of the air. Those chemicals also will represent smells. Now, in a home, that could be cooking smells, it could be the smell of new paint, all those kind of new car smells, they represent chemicals. In an office, again, it'll be new carpets paint and so on, but mostly people. So if we can take the smell of the people away, that's going to enhance the environment and then some. Also, in some commercial environments, especially if you have something like an open door policy in a shop or a restaurant, where you've got fumes from the high street coming in, diesel fumes and so on, we're going to be nullifying those at a great rate. So it's going to improve the atmosphere by taking out chemicals. It's going to improve the atmosphere by taking out the viruses and bacteria. Now, the viruses we're talking about are, on the medical side, things like C. difficile. On the commercial side, things like Legionella, tuberculosis, which is on the rise in the UK. But where the money is for commercial offices is taking out colds and flus. It's colds and flus which cost the economy those sick days. So reducing your absenteeism from just colds and flus. That's where that really scores. Okay, the filter is fantastic for things like the pollens, anything that's going to give allergies, those just dust mites and the like. It's going to really improve your quality of life in your home, as well as the commercial office. Now, if you take this application into things like medical environments and laboratories, obviously if you're doing tests to clean the air around where you are doing the tests, it's obviously going to improve your contamination rates, but also just make it a healthier environment for the staff to work in. Okay, so Gyms is another big area which we want to mention. Gyms are a big problem for air conditioning units. When you see an air conditioning unit that's been operating in a gym, when you see it taken apart and serviced, it is full of some really awful stuff. So gyms are a great area, and obviously that leads us on to how this helps keep the heating and ventilation system and the air conditioning system itself clean. So all the gunk that's in the atmosphere would normally end up inside your air conditioning system, and it would coat the heat exchangers, put a jacket around them, which stops them being efficient. So keep them clean, keep them efficient, save you money, and in a large building that can really add up. Okay. So I think we've covered nearly everything. I just want to touch on servicing it. How often do we change the filter? The benchmark we use is that in a home we're going to change this once every 6 months. In a commercial environment it's going to vary a little bit. It could be once every 4 or even 3 months, depending on just how dirty that environment is. And think again of what I mentioned about the open door policies. The lamps would change once a year regardless. So even if you do have an open door policy and that those fumes are coming in, that's absolutely fine. Once a year is fine. The mesh, you just never have to change. That's a lifetime operation. We do have this as well as a portable, something you just take into a room and plug in. But for best results, part of a ducted system like this, where we can bring you NASA levels of air cleanliness. Now, go back to the beginning of what I said. You're looking at this video because you've got a worry or an inquiry about your indoor air quality. Hopefully this has given you some ideas of what is actually possible out there. So we're at the Ingenious Air Company. My name is Joe Flanagan, and we're just trying to help you make the right decision about your indoor air quality.